Alright, so I've been gone for a while, but we're not going to dwell on that because I need to finish this video before my phone runs out of storage. That's the downfall of using your phone as your camera. Anyway, we're going to rank Kanye's albums today. Starting with number 9, Jesus is King, his worst album. He hyped up his Yandi album for like a whole year, only to drop this great value diet version of it. All the hype was for nothing. There's not a lot of great tracks on here. I actually really enjoyed this album when it dropped, but then, like, a couple listens later, I'm like, man, this really sucks. There's still a couple good songs on here, like Follow God and Selah, but even those have grown off on me a little bit. So yeah, I'd give Jesus is King a 4 out of 10. Moving on, a project I think is actually pretty good is number 8, Ye. I think Ye is overall a pretty good project. There's a couple duds on there, like All Mine, which that song really drags down the score more than anything on Ye. I think Wouldn't Leave is a bit boring too. There's nothing really wrong with it. I just don't really like it that much. It's kind of lackluster. For the highs though, the highs are very high. I think the intro track, I Thought About Killing You, is really great. To show like what Kanye's mental state was like at the time, and I think the production on that track is fantastic. It doesn't really get bad until he starts rapping on it, which ruins it for a lot of people, but for me, I don't mind it that much. And also, Ghost Town is an absolutely amazing track from Ye, one of his best tracks ever in my opinion, and I would rate Ye a 7 out of 10. Moving on to number 7, 808s and Heartbreak. One of the most influential rap, well, I guess it's not a rap album, but one of the most influential albums of the 2000s. All the artists that we have now from the past decade were probably influenced by that album in one way or another. There's a couple boring tracks like See You in My Nightmares with Lil Wayne, which is absolutely atrocious. I'm sorry. Bad News is kind of boring too. I know Kanye fans will roast the shit out of me for that. The only song I found kind of corny was RoboCop, just because of the whole theme of it. The production on it's good though. Things that I found great about 808s are Streetlights, which is just a really personal track from Kanye. Even if the lyrics don't show it, like, you can tell how emotionally damaged he was by his mother's death at the time. And Paranoid is probably the greatest synth pop track of the 2000s. So 808s is a really good project. I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. Moving on to number 6, Yeezus. Yeezus used to be at the very bottom for me. It's so polarizing. I used to hate this project so much, but I changed my mind over the past few months. I think the production on Yeezus is fantastic. The lyrics are dog shit. I'm not going to defend any of the lyrics. I think On Sight is unironically a great opener. I love how it starts out really menacing and then switches to that sample with like the gospel singing or the choir singing. Love that. Love Guilt Trip with Kid Cudi. That feature's fantastic. New Slaves is obviously an amazing track with that breakdown at the end. I'd also give Yeezus a 7.5 out of 10. And moving on to number 5, Late Registration, which some of you will kill me for having it this low, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. I just feel like there's a couple tracks on Late Registration that bring down the score a bit, and you're going to kill me for which tracks they are. Addiction, I don't like that much. I think the content is good. I think Kanye's lyricism is some of his best, but I don't like the beat. I think it's boring, and that's the same thing with Gone. I think Gone's kind of boring too, plus Gone's a bit corny. My Way Home just has Common rapping for like a minute, and I think that beat's kind of boring too. However, the good greatly outweighs the bad, because you have tracks like Hey Mama, which warm my heart. Roses also is a heartbreaking track, especially when he has the line that he says, like, doctors would save a celebrity, but they can't save his grandma or something. He says something like that, and that really hit. And We Major is just a really fun track with the features. One of the greatest hip-hop songs of all time, I'd say. And I also love the orchestral theme of the album, so I'd give Late Registration an 8 out of 10. Fantastic project. Number 4 is the predecessor to Late Registration, The College Dropout. Everyone loves The College Dropout. You can't not love The College Dropout. It's the album that got me into Kanye. There's nothing but classics on top of classics there. Plus the skits, if you're in college, it makes them even funnier. I love the Little Jimmy skit. The School Spirit skits are great. The production with the Chipmunk soul sampling is amazing all the way through. And I think what makes the College Dropout so good is the personal tracks like Through the Wire, where he talked about how he got in a car crash, talked about his jaw, and the way he sounds in that compared to how he sounds in all his other stuff is amazing. And one of my favorite Kanye songs of all time, Family Business, is damn near perfect. The beat, it's just so beautiful. I don't know what else to say about it. I love the choir in it, and at the end, whenever you hear the little kid say, let's get Stevie out of jail, that just adds on to what was already like an amazing song. I'd give College Dropout a 9 out of 10, by the way. But number 3, Graduation, is possibly the most nostalgic album ever for me. The only song that causes Graduation to lose some points is Barry Bonds, which is my least favorite Kanye song of all time. I don't know what it is about him and Lil Wayne collaborating, but for me it never works, even though I'm a fan of both of them. I think the beat on Barry Bonds is boring. Drunken Hot Girls is fine. I know everyone hates that song. I think it's okay. The beat is good. Kanye's just having fun on it. There's no big deal. Songs I'd consider my favorites are Stronger, Everything I Am, Good Morning, and Flashing Lights. So I'd give Graduation a 9 out of 10. Moving on to the top 2. Number 2, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Used to be my number 1, but I'd probably still consider every track on this album a 10, except for Monster, and I'll get into that. So, Monster's good. Like, the beat's good. Jay-Z's verse is Like, for Jay-Z, he could have done so much better. Nicki's verse definitely brings it up. It's the best thing she's ever done. I think we all could agree on that. But yeah, that's all I have to say about Monster. It just really ran out of replay value for me. Runaway and Devil in a New Dress are 2 of the greatest rap songs ever, and even though the album has no specific concept, it doesn't really need one because there is that overarching concept that says in the title, it's Kanye's Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and I think all these songs put together makes it work. So I will give My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy a 9.5 out of 10, just because of Monster. If Monster was a bit better, then it would probably be a 10, but moving on to number 1, you already know what it is, The Life of Pablo. It's interesting for me, because Pablo used to not be even close to my favorite Kanye album. I used to think it was kind of bad, actually, but the more you listen to it, the more you become a fan of Kanye, the more you enjoy it, because I think it's the most Kanye album, if that makes sense. There's some tracks on here that can be considered terrible, like Fade, but I actually love every single one. With Waves, No More Parties in LA, Saint Pablo, Famous, Real Friends. With songs as good as those, do duds like Fade even really matter? Like, yes, there's a lot of filler on this. There's a lot of tracks that will make you go, well, why did Kanye put this on here? But, everything is so good on this album, and I can't believe I ever didn't enjoy it. I think Saint Pablo is easily Kanye's greatest closing track. Ultralight Beam is a good opening track, even though I think it's kind of overrated compared to the other openers he has. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. I will give Life of Pablo a 10 out of 10, by the way, if it wasn't obvious before. But thanks for watching. Let me know how you'd rank Kanye's albums, and I'll see you next time.